depending upon what she has to do, she usually signs on. For her, it's 10 o'clock at night. And then we have a few, and then Tanya Sterling sometimes will or won't. Anyway, I was expecting about 8 people, but if we don't get it, that's fine. And Corey, I don't know the nature of your presentation tonight. Are you going to do a share screen?
Yeah, I'll do a share screen. You asked me to talk about membership and try to skew that towards your alternative club, and that will be my attempt tonight.
Okay, and we will have some questions for you gearing around recruitment for alternative clubs like an e-club. And we'll go from there. Like any Rotary club, you know, we have a lot of turnover right now. We lost 7, got picked up 5. And, you know, we're looking for ways to maintain and sustain and retain. So with that, let's go ahead with the member. I thought Ed would be in tonight. He's our secretary and he does really a good job of taking notes. And he said he'd be here. But let's go ahead, Corey, out of respect for the fact that you're signed on in our program. And please, the floor is yours.
Okay. Well, thank you for having me on, Bill. And, you know, I wasn't sure the format of your meetings, but I appreciate you having me on. I'll get my screen share going here now. And let's see.
There we go.
We seeing the screen now?
Yes, I do. Everybody else okay with the screen? Good.
Yes.
Okay.
All righty. Well, let's get right into it then. So I am Corey the Party. I'm the District 5020 Membership Development Chair. You can reach me at any time at pardiman@yahoo.com. That's parliament@yahoo.com. And I'm happy to answer any membership questions. I've been the membership chair for, well, this will be my 3rd Rotary year. And so this will be my last Rotary year in this position. And let's go ahead and move forward. So I wanted to talk to you about attracting members to alternative clubs tonight. We'll go over why we focus on membership, why people join and stay in Rotary, how Rotary looks to other people, how to talk about Rotary and your club membership plan. And honestly, not knowing who's on tonight and how long you've been in Rotary or whether you've seen these types of presentations before, I just kind of went with a presentation that I hope satisfies the interest of all levels of Rotarians. And so that's what we'll be providing tonight. So the state of Rotary membership, as most of you probably know, Rotary has been flat for a good 12, 13 years now. There's about 170,000 Rotarians that come into Rotary and about the same number leave every year. In our district, the last 2 years, it looks like we've had a positive growth, but we're talking double single-digit growth in the 2017 to 2018 Rotary year. We ended up the Rotary year at plus 17 for a district of 91 clubs. So we're not even growing an average of 1 member per club. This Rotary year, we're somewhere, I'm hoping the number ends at 10, though I've seen it as low as 3 and as high as 13. But the official numbers won't be ready for us until August 15th. So your club is just like a lot of other clubs all across the world. Rotarians coming in, Rotarians coming out. So why Rotarians join and stay in Rotary? I'd like to start out talking about this. In case you aren't familiar, Rotary did some surveys back in 2012-13, and they really asked Rotarians and non-Rotarians, hey, what interests you about Rotary? Why did you join Rotary? Why would you join Rotary? And for those that were leaving Rotary, why did you leave? And what they found is the reason why Rotarians join Rotary and stay in Rotary, the #1 reason is community impact. 35% join to have a local impact, and 36% stay because of the impact they make locally. So a third of Rotarians are in Rotary and stay in Rotary because of what they can do in their communities. So you might be thinking, when we're looking at membership and membership plans, what could you do to start now involving your members in their communities so they can make more of a difference? The number 2 reason people join and stay in Rotary is friends and contacts. 30% join to make friends, and 38% stay because of those friendships. That's the highest reason why people say they stay in Rotary. So you might be thinking about, how can your club do a better job of maintaining those relationships and those friendships outside of just your normal meeting times? The third reason, 18% join for the networking opportunities and 5% stay to network. So for most clubs, we talk about how you can make networking happen in your club. I think for your club, you need to think about how you can make networking unique, because you are in a situation where people aren't face-to-face on a regular basis, aren't shaking hands. I guess they're virtually face-to-face and virtually shaking hands, but you're not passing those business cards, and it's probably a little bit harder for you to do business with each other, not being the same geographical location. The fourth is global impact. 8% say they join to make a global impact. 14% stay because they can make a difference globally. And I know your club has done work to make a difference globally, and we appreciate that. And I'm sure that a good portion of the reason why Rotarians would stay in your club is because of the things that your group is doing globally. And then number 5 is recognition. It's not a very high percentage, only 4% join for recognition and 2% stay, but that was the number 5 reason. So you always want to be thinking about what makes people feel valued. How can you recognize them in your club meetings? How can you recognize them on your websites and outside your club meetings? Recognize them on your Facebook page and social media. So those are the 5 reasons why Rotarians join Rotary, and the 5 reasons Rotarians stay in Rotary. Rotary brand experience. So your club culture is directly related to why people stay or leave. So when you're thinking about how can we do a better job of keeping the Rotarians we have, how can we keep them in our club, and why would they stay? You want to go back to those 5 reasons why Rotarians stay in Rotary. And those are the reasons that your club needs to reflect in order to keep people involved and keep them in your club. So how does Rotary look to the public? So a lot of clubs, Rotary looks to the world as a group of people that have lunch and insult each other. Maybe we're a bunch of old white men sitting around, and you know, we have crazy fundraisers. We don't necessarily do a good job explaining what the money's for, who we are, and we're always looking for members. So this is a perception that all clubs have to overcome. And it's a perception that when you're looking for new members, even though your club doesn't necessarily follow that pattern, you still have to overcome those misconceptions. So your club's image and brand to the world is largely going to be determined by who you are and what you do. And so you want to make sure that you are reflecting that out there to anyone who might come across your club, any material on your club. Now, I know you're an e-club, and I was able to pull this from a previous video. And so, you know, you guys meet online, so you're different. Your members are from different communities. You use the network of Rotary to do service. So you are unique just in the nature. Your club was set up in a unique way. Your club consists of unique members, and that should be a selling point that you can use when you're inviting people to attend your meetings, when you're inviting people to participate in Rotary within the Rotary Club of District 5020. You are a unique group, and you want to make sure that people know that. So how do we approach Rotarians as a potential prospect? Well, you know, we often look at that new member as a super precious thing, but we need to be patient, invite them to attend a meeting just for fun, not be so quick to try to sign them up and get them on board. All clubs do this. All Rotarians tend to meet somebody, talk about Rotary, and the next thing they do is ask them, well, you want to join our club? you want to get them involved. You want to get them comfortable with Rotary before you ask them to be a part of Rotary. So when you're talking about Rotary, let's look at what some people might say.
Oh, hey, Julie. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Great. Oh, thanks. Your Rotary pin. I've seen you wear that all the time, but you know, I don't know what Rotary is. Can you tell me a little bit about it?
Sure. Well, it's kind of like a club. We get together once a week and we have lunch. Some clubs have dinner. So we meet for lunch, and it's, you know, the food's okay. It's not that great. Well, sometimes it is. And, you know, it's about 36,000 members, I think. No, 36,000 clubs. That's what it is.
Okay.
1.2 million members.
Gotcha. Okay.
So yeah, 1.2 million members. Let me think. What else? We hang out a lot.
Yeah.
And we have we get together and help the community a little bit.
A little bit. Okay.
It's been around for a long time. I think it was started in Chicago by this guy named Paul Harris. Paul Harris? Yeah, Paul Harris.
Oh, okay.
And
Great.
I don't know. That's about it.
That's
yeah,
great.
it's a good time. That's it. That's all Rotary is. See ya. I gotta get back to work. Julie, is that order ready?
So hopefully you heard all that audio, and sadly, a lot of times that's how the conversation goes, especially when somebody's approaching somebody about Rotary and a traditional Rotary club. Now, you guys probably don't talk about how you have lunch, but you might talk about how you have online meetings. You talk about things, and you might talk about what Rotary is. But I encourage you to look at Rotary when somebody says, why should people join Rotary when they can serve in other settings with no dues or attendance requirements? Let them know that Rotary provides members with benefits and value which can't be obtained anywhere else in another single setting. I mean, you've got personal and professional development, you've got meaningful and lasting relationships, networking, a lot of times family involvement, and service with your members that changes the world. This is what we want to talk about when somebody asks us, what's Rotary and why should we join? It's about the service, it's about making a connection, it's about making changes within the world and within ourselves. And I think if we stick to those talking points, we'll do a lot better job of letting people know the flavor of Rotary, and then hopefully talking a bit more about what makes your club unique to other clubs. So I wanted to talk a little bit about, as well, making sure that you guys set up a club membership development plan. Bill, I'm guessing that you guys don't have one of those in place yet?
Actually, we're waiting till after your presentation tonight, and then we'll probably have an extra meeting in either this month or next month and start to, as a group, talk about a plan. So this is why you're on right now, is to get us going this year and to think about what are we going to do for a plan.
Okay. Well, some of the things I would suggest as part of your plan, the first thing I always suggest clubs start with is starting with the member leads program, creating some sort of tracking system where you can track the people that might be interested in joining your club, and then following up with them on a regular basis until either you realize that they're not a good fit or you actually bring them in as a member. And so one of the ways to kick that off is the Identifying Prospective Members worksheet. You get prompted to think of all your contacts, acquaintances, friends, jot down their contact information, and then start compiling that list so that you can work that list in order to get people in. It's a short exercise, but it's a good kickoff, and I always suggest that as the first part of any membership plan for clubs.
Corey, quick question.
Yes.
Where is that worksheet available? On Rotary.org?
It is available on Rotary.org, but I'll go ahead and send it out to you along with the copy of this presentation tonight.
Oh, so good, because I'd like to send that out to every one of our members.
Sure.
And say, you know, just fill out one sheet for one person, right? Okay.
Well, actually, it includes multiple lines, and I'll include a custom sheet that I created because Rotary sheet doesn't include phone number and email. And I think it's important to get the contact information right off the bat, not just the name and occupation, which is what is included on their sheet.
Great, thank you.
Can I interject a question here while we're on this point?
Absolutely.
It seems to me that our club, and perhaps any other e-club, is the membership is, I think, has been people who have been members of a regular club who, for one reason or another, but that didn't work, and so they left. I mean, they already have a history of being Rotarians, and for one reason or another, being in an E-club worked for their particular situation. Now, why can't Rotary give us as a list of all the people who have been leaving clubs or who have just left one of the regular clubs in our district, so that we can recruit them to see if they'd like to stay Rotarians, and we might be a home for them.
Well, actually, you're jumping ahead of my presentation, because that's one of my future points to talk to you about. But I think it's a good idea. Absolutely. You know, one of the interesting things is in Rotary, they've had for about 3 or 4 years now a leads program. And the leads that come into our district quite often are for people that are looking for club meetings in an area or at a time where we actually don't have a meeting that suits their needs. We get a lot of people looking for evening meetings in areas where there's no evening club, or weekend meetings, and our district doesn't have one single club out of the 91 that meets on the weekends. So we do have non-Rotarians that are interested in joining Rotary, and you'd be surprised, they're out there, that none of the clubs that are traditional clubs really fit their mold. And so that's why I think you guys, as a club, your club has a real opportunity to provide something that none of the other clubs in our district offer, which is a evening flexibility for somebody, regardless of where their geographical area is. If there's not a club that fits for them right now, your club should be able to work for them. And so I would say there's probably just as many non-Rotarians as there are past Rotarians that would be a good fit. And so that's why I suggest going down your contact list, at least off the start.
Okay,
Yes.
Corey, to follow up on Chuck's request, one of the things I know is that when they talk about potential members in an area, that information usually goes to either the district governor or an AG. It would be really helpful if RI would make that information directly available to all the presidents of clubs, because there may be somebody who's interested in an area, but maybe they're in Tumwater or maybe they're in Victoria. So, you know what I'm saying? So presidents aren't getting that information. It's not coming down to this level.
So the only way to get it down to your level is through the assistant governors or myself.
Okay.
And I have to say that even with the 24 emails that go out right now, which is nowhere near the 115 it would be that if it went to every president plus everybody who gets it right now, there's plenty of confusion on how this system works. So I can just imagine the chaos if there was 115 emails going out 2 or 3 or 4 times a week for prospective members. Now, that being said, we have a system that we manage, and I am happy to pass on those leads to your club if it doesn't look like people are following through on these leads in their areas. Because I've been doing it for 2 years now, and I know that even at the end of the year, you know, our goal is to get 75% of these leads passed through to clubs, and we're only getting about 35% of them passed through to clubs.
So Corey, to follow on Chuck's request, it would be really helpful if you could do that, that if after a period of time, people are not joining a quote brick and mortar club, that if we knew that, I could personally contact each one of those prospects who did not follow up with a traditional club.
Yeah, I definitely think we can make that part of our process.
Okay.
Well, part of the process too, couldn't it be that when a Rotarian leaves a club in our district, that the district say, you know, as part of an exit interview of sorts, say, look, if you're still, you know, if you're still interested in being in a Rotarian, we'd like to suggest that you might want to consider, you know, this E-club, and you can contact Bill.
In an ideal world, that would be great. Sadly, all the clubs are independently in charge of when they release people, and I get no indication when somebody's left a club. I only see the numbers go up or down from a report. I don't see the individual Rotarian list. So let me reach out to this one. We'll talk about it reaching out to past district members, and then I'll back a few slides. So
Okay.
we have the ability to pull reports for each club and show who the past members were. However, it takes a little bit of effort to do that. So my suggestion is that whoever is your membership chair, we find a way to work together so that on a regular basis we can pull those reports for you, because we are seeing a large number of Rotarians. I know that our district in May was at plus 217, I want to say, Rotarians. And we ended the year at plus about 10. So there's 207 former Rotarians at the minimum at the end of every Rotary year.
Right.
Now, I'm guessing that clubs are also adding and dropping throughout the year. So it may be closer to 300 Rotarians that are going through our district in a year. Sadly, I don't have a way to pull one report to see that. I have to go club by club in order to pull past Rotarians that are no longer.
You have some sort of a broadcast announcement to all of the clubs that we exist, and that, you know, this is one way to keep people in Rotary.
I think that's definitely a good point, and whether it becomes part of an article that I send out or part of my quarterly e-blast, we'll find a way to get that out there. I think that's a great point. I know that I did send Bill a list of members when the Parksville Club was looking to close, so that we could do that exact thing. So it's definitely something that my committee wants to work with you guys on, because you're the only, it's not like we have 5 e-clubs in our district, we have 1. So I think we can make the special arrangements to work with you guys.
Okay.
So, strong social media. This is an area where I think your club has opportunities that other clubs don't have, because you're going to see a lot of people looking for your club online because you don't have a physical space. And one thing I didn't see a lot of going back was on your website or on your social media, how your club is being involved in doing service and being involved in the world and in communities. And so I think there's an opportunity for you guys and Jen as well, but I don't see your face. So, but I think there's an opportunity for your club to definitely be a little more vocal and do more to show potential members what you are doing and how you're unique, and how when they join your club, they're definitely going to be able to make an impact no matter where they live.
Okay.
So that's something that I think, from what I've seen anyway, is an area of opportunity for your club.
Corey, thank you. We had a large impact last year on a couple, well, we call it community or global, however you want to call it, grants on our own. And I think I was remiss in not getting that information put into some sort of a, paragraph with some pictures and what have you, that could have been posted on both Facebook and the website. So I will add that as something that says, look what we've done, or, brag about what we've done and the kind of service we provided. So thank you. I'll take care of that.
I encourage you to do that whenever one of your members attends another club meeting, attends another online meeting, does any sort of service for another group, because that's all things that your club is doing, and it is doing in a unique way. And so potential members need to know about that, because right now the look is that you meet online and maybe there isn't anything else. And so I know that's not the case, but that from the half hour I spent looking at your social media and your website today, I came away with that feeling.
Okay. All right.
The other is to reach out to Rotary alumni. Sorry, the photo looks quite pixelated, but Rotary has over 445,000 alumni records. They have over 80 active alumni associations. Only 16,000 of those are Rotarians. More than half are actually interested in membership, and 18% have volunteered in the last year. So there are a lot of people who have had some sort of connection with Rotary, whether we're in Interact or Rotaract, we're in Exchange, we're a Youth Scholar, we're any other way that you become an alumni. And they are potential Rotarians, and especially because you are not location-based, they're potential Rotarians for your club.
Okay, follow up on that, Corey. How do we get the alumni records?
Well, Rotary has now put some effort out there, and Rotary alumni chairs are now a position, and the district membership committee now has an alumni chair as part of our committee, Mark Brackett, and so he'll be reaching out within the next month, I would guess, to let clubs know how they can be more involved with the Rotary alumni. So I would say look for his emails, look to be part of what he's doing, but it's a big potential out there for your club, and I wanted to make sure that you were aware of it.
Thank you.
So, and we talked about reaching out to past members. So the club membership plan, I just touched on a few things that I think you could add. Rotary has a how to develop a club membership plan. There's a whole membership packet. It's way too large to go through tonight. The basic is you come up with some ideas, you come up with the details, you propose what you're going to do, and then you launch your plan. And if I've found anything to be true in the 2-ish years that I've been doing this job, is that the clubs that spend time focused on membership grow their membership, and the clubs that don't have a plan and say they're going to focus on membership don't grow their membership. So you're a long way there just by going through the steps, creating the plan, and then starting to work on it. I think you'll see results right off the bat. So the world needs more Rotarians, and I'm happy to take any questions at this point.
Okay, Jen and Sasha, I see Sasha came in. Cool. Why don't you unmute yourself? And Corey has been doing this for 2 years now, so he is the district expert besides the chair. And ask him any questions, anything that you think might help us, or that we might want to even put into our plan, because I'd like to have a meeting down the road to develop a membership plan. So please ask Corey any ideas you may have on, what should we consider in developing our plan beyond what he's already told us? Ideas you might have.
I'd like to ask Corey something. So I come from Rotary already and joined the E-Club for a number of reasons, and I see the value in it. And I'm involved with the youth exchange program, so that's how I serve the Rotary. In talking to friends who do want to join the Rotary, I'm apprehensive about bringing in new people because it feels like it's not the same as an in-person club. Are you finding that other E-Clubs do bring in new people to Rotary this way and that that's successful? Or do you feel like, part of me just thinks you should bring them into face-to-face first, and then this is more for those of us who know what Rotary is already about?
Well, my experience is actually there are more people that are interested in this form of Rotary than there are that are interested in the traditional club. People want to be able to serve, they want to be able to make a difference, but they don't necessarily want to have lunch, sing songs, pledge the allegiance, and have to be at a certain place in a certain physical location every single day. I see that more and more across not just our district, but in other districts. And so the satellite club opportunities, the evening clubs, the weekend clubs, the online e-clubs, the passport clubs, those are the clubs that are growing, and those are the clubs that potential Rotarians are looking to join. So there is, in my opinion, no such thing as the right kind of club or a system for bringing people in to what Rotary should be and then transferring them into this new form of Rotary. If you follow the 4-way test, you believe in the objects of Rotary, you follow Rotary's avenues of service, which fundraising is not one of Rotary's avenues of service, regardless of what the brick and mortar clubs seem to think. I think you're a great Rotary club, and I think that's what brings potential Rotarians. And I also know that Rotary International is working on membership opportunities that we will see down the road and are taking place right now in parts of Texas that won't involve any club membership whatsoever. So the model is far more of what you guys are doing than a lunch club. And so, yes, I think plenty of potential new Rotarians would be happy to join this kind of club.
So I guess my question still remains, and I'm not sure I'm wording it right, but how would new people to Rotary feel connected with us as individuals through service? How would you say that works exactly?
So you mean, how would they connect with you personally, or how do they connect to the club? I'm not sure.
In the service portion.
In the service portion. Well, there are lots of potential Rotarians, non-Rotarians that are already doing service in their communities.
Right.
Plenty of people serve on nonprofit boards. In the state of Washington, plenty of people are starting their own nonprofits with no thought at all of being involved in some other service club to do it. So I don't think it's super hard to connect people to the idea of service, especially if you start looking for potential Rotarians and people that are already serving in their communities. I think your club maybe could arrange service around finding projects for people to do in their areas as a club assist, maybe, if you're having some difficulty. For instance, in Thurston County, I could find 3 days or 4 days a week some sort of service project for a club member to do if they really wanted to be involved in our community. And so I hope that kind of answers your question. I don't think it would be that hard. I think it's more a matter of connecting with these potential Rotarians either virtually through social media and then a meeting like this, or knowing them in person and saying, hey, I see you as somebody who has an interest in serving, who seems ethical, and I would like to show you what Rotary is and have you get involved. So that would be my approach.
Okay, I'm thinking, Jen, that in a future meeting when we have as a club get together and talk about a membership plan and service, that we could do something where we can encourage members to do service locally within their areas. And one of the ways I can do it is we could have somebody, I don't know who yet, but have somebody look at the different clubs, what's going on in different clubs from their websites or Facebook, what projects they might have coming up. And those of us who are in that geographic area might be able to serve on a project. Or if not that, something else. I know I helped the Tumwater Rotary Club at their Olympic Air Fest a couple of weeks ago, serving hot dogs and things like that. And I've gone to their Interact Club meetings and just sat in and been an advisor to Interact. So maybe we can, start doing something like that where we connect our members to what's going on within their geographic area. And,
I love that idea.
Yeah.
I love that.
So when we get to our member, I'm going to write this down, but in a future meeting, I would like to have a meeting specifically with the membership to talk about what we can do that way. Because it's not just membership, Corey, right? I mean, it's public image, it's community service. And, if we do community service, we promote that with public image, that tends to make us more attractive for potential members, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. So,
you could help out at your local senior center, your local food bank, with a local backpack program, and take a picture of yourself and say, hey, I'm with, the District 5020E Club, and I'm here in my community serving today.
Okay, so maybe some kind of once I can collect some information from the membership, what's going on, what have they done, even if it's just this last year, and maybe even put an article down that says the E Club of 5020 is active in their community, and the following members have done the following things, right? Whatever that might be. And we're also involved internationally because we did the Rachel Pie in Guatemala, and also in Kenya. Something like that promotes what we did, and put that on both Facebook and the website?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, all right.
Can I ask a question? It seems like what you're saying is you can go out and do volunteer work that you could do without being a Rotary member, and say you're doing it as a Rotarian. But I don't think that's what we're really talking about. Now, am I right that when you being a member of the Rotary Club, any Rotary Club, you can participate. It's your ticket to participate perhaps in international projects, and so, wouldn't that be an advantage of being a member of our club, that if you had any sort of interest in doing vaccinations in Afghanistan or whatever it is through the Rotary Club, this is your ticket to do it.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely. As a, I guess sales tool would be the way, but yes, as a way to let people know what the opportunities are, that's definitely one of them you would want to let people know about. Because not every club is involved internationally. I have a club that I'm involved in of 32 members, and we, in the 20-ish years we've been around, we've only done maybe 2 international projects the whole time. Most of them are community service. So, if you're doing regular international, that is unique for a club your size.
Jim, were you going to raise your hand, Jim?
Yeah, there's, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. There's a lot of people probably like me that was active with Rotary physically, but at this point in time, I have some physical issues that prohibit me from being active, attending meetings, fundraising, that sort of thing. And I've heard of this, of the E-Club, and joined it in the hopes that when I get my physical abilities back and then I'll be able to get back and active with my club again. This is something perhaps you want to look at. There's probably a lot of other people like me that want to stay active, but because of physical restrictions at this time, can't do it.
Jim, I have to second that idea. I was on a meeting about 10 days ago with it's just an informal group of North American E-Clubs, both from the States and from Canada. And it was surprising how many people use E-Clubs as a transition. In other words, they're in between land-based clubs or brick and mortar clubs, whether it's for health, whether it's for travel or jobs. And so they use an E-Club as a way to stay connected and involved with Rotary until such time as they can go back to a land-based club. So that's another aspect that we could build upon, right, and use as an asset for belonging to our club. And I'm sorry, Chuck, but I think you were going to say something else also.
Well, no, I was just trying to make sure I understood correctly that if you are a Rotarian and have a ticket like we have as being a member of this club, then we can join international projects, that we'd be welcome to do that. And if you're not a member, part of it. I was just trying to make sure that my understanding is correct.
It is correct, Chuck. Back to you, Corey. Sorry, sir.
Well, I'm just, happy to be here. And if there's any other questions, I'd be happy to answer them. I enjoy the fact that we have an E-Club. I love the fact that we have different models of clubs, different opportunities for people. I get a lot of resistance sometimes from the lunch clubs that we're just fine and dandy the way we are. And I keep saying, hey, we need more clubs that people are asking for. If they're asking for a weekend club, we should have one. If they're asking for evening clubs or morning clubs, we should have those. If they're asking for clubs that only meet twice a month and only do service projects, we should look at those as well. And so you all are providing a great service to the district as far as offering a unique kind of club that no one else around here is offering. I know they started out in Colorado, I think, with the one club, but it's great to have one in the district, and I appreciate you all being members of this club.
So Corey, I have a question for you, and I'll put out an email to the membership as far as the best day and time for a meeting of the club membership that's specifically to develop a membership plan.
Mm-hmm.
Would you be willing to sit in on that and provide us advice as we go along, make sure we don't miss an element?
Yeah, if I can fit it into my schedule, I'd be happy to sit in on that. Absolutely. I would caution you to be conservative in your first plan. we did a weekend workshop for our first membership plan as a club, and I thought we might come up. I said we should come away with at least 3 things that we wanted to take action on. They came up with 5 of them, and then they came up with 18 different action points for those 5 areas. And so our club now has a huge plan that they want to work on, and I'm happy for them, but I would encourage you to keep it small to start with, and then you can always revise or add to it. Because it seems like a lot of ideas get generated at these sorts of meetings, and then being the membership person who gets to follow up with everybody to see if they're even doing any of the work is always a challenge. So yeah, that would be my only caveat there, is that you pick just a few things that you think you can do well and then go out and do them.
Well, that's why I was hoping to, because that advice right there is really good about having caution. We go into, we're sitting in a planning meeting, and all of a sudden we have all these wonderful ideas. We need someone like you to say, you know, in the military, we called it the KISS plan.
Yeah.
KISS, keep it simple, stupid, right? In other words, don't try to get so deep, so involved. You know, keep it simple and focused. It's something that you can actually do. Right. So I will do that, Corey. I will include you in an invitation to the club membership. I don't know. Is everybody in this group familiar with Doodle, Doodle? I'll send it out. It's a very simple, it's a free program, but I put out some potential dates and times, and everybody says whether they can or cannot. And when I get the feedback and the majority pick a certain day and time, then that's the one we go with. So anyway, it may not even be that. I may just do an email and say, here's some suggested dates, please respond, something like that. Anyway, any other questions for Corey on membership? This is the reason I asked Corey to do this. This is our very first meeting of the new year. I'm grateful that our club is continuing. We're pretty typical though. We get maybe 50% or so online from time to time.
Hey, Bill, it looks like Sasha has her hand raised.
Well, does she? I can't see that.
If you click on participants, then you'll get a list. And
oh, she does, but why is she muted? Oh, there you go, Sasha. Go ahead. Sasha, can you hear us?
yeah, I'm not sure her audio is coming through. Here.
She's trying to connect all the way from Japan, and I don't know what her abilities may be at this point. I see she's raised her hand, and I've activated her mic. Sounds like she's
Can you
trying.
hear me now?
Hey,
yes.
there we go.
There you are.
Okay, I guess. Sorry, I'm just like walking. It's typhoon season right now, so it's pretty noisy out here, and I'm just walking back to my work, so that's why I couldn't have my mic on. I didn't want to flood you guys all with the sound of heavy rain. But
Okay.
I was gonna say, are you familiar with the application called Slack? Just when you were talking about like Doodle.
Can you spell that for me?
Slack. It's like to slack off.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's actually, my company uses it. It's kind of like a server where you have chat options, but it's specifically for workspaces. So you can have like designated tasks. You can have channels for if you want to open a project. You can have like chat rooms specifically for that. It's a really light app too, so it doesn't take up a lot of space on the phone. And it's for a desktop as well, Android or Windows or Mac. And it
Is it
keeps everything really
slack.com
streamlined.
or is it slack.com or just .com? Okay.
Yeah, if you just Google Slack, it should be like the first result that comes up.
Okay.
And I'm just thinking like pertaining to membership, it just keeps everything in one place. And we've had a lot of success using it in our office.
Sasha, you are so good. Look at that.
Yeah, so I would definitely consider trying to set one up. Again, I'm not too sure if it like will solve all the membership questions, but it definitely keeps everything in one place. And then anytime anyone's looking for information, or if they're just looking for, you know, opportunities, they can definitely look at the channel, and there's always going to be somebody there ready to respond.
So how would we use that, Sasha?
So I believe you can get a server name. I'm sure there's a Rotary Club somewhere that's using it.
Okay.
So I'm sure Slack is aware of our existence, but I think you can set up a workspace. I'm going to be back in the office in about 30 minutes, so I can look at trying to set one up. But yeah, it's really easy to use. It just takes like maybe 10 minutes to get familiarized with.
Wow.
But if I can get that going, I'll definitely send you the information.
I'll send an email out to this North American email group, or not e-club group I've joined, and see if any of them out. I think there's like 64 in that group. See if any of them use this.
Absolutely, a lot of Office Space uses it now too. I also do some freelance editing online, and my company there also uses this.
Cool. Thank you, Sasha. What a great idea.
Yeah. Okay.
You're such a great member. I love it.
No, I'm sorry. I don't really say much. I'm usually just here listening.
Yeah, but
like
you don't have to say much to have an impact. You're great. Thank you.
Okay.
I enjoyed watching your video, Sasha, with your presentation.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm sorry for the noise. I'm back out with the typhoon now. Thank you very much.
Cool. Does anyone have anything more for Corey regarding his presentation tonight? Because if not, I took a lot of notes, Corey. Took 2 pages of notes. I have your five reasons for joining and staying, the top 5, and that's probably how we'll do our discussion as to developing a plan. And then, of course, Sasha will help us get that Slack going so we can create and organize our plan. But does anyone have anything else for Corey tonight? Any other questions?
Well, how important are the meeting programs in terms of keeping membership interest alive?
Well, so that's kind of a 50-50. For the brick and mortar, it seems like club service and those programs are really important for the membership. For a lot of the alternative models, whether it's the Passport Club, the E-Club, the Weekend Club, even some of the evening clubs, they're actually moving away from having any presentation type meetings at all, and they're just focusing on the service aspect of things. And so they'll have a business meeting, or they might have an offline or online board meeting that's not part of their regular schedule. But the rest of the time, they're either getting together to do social, or they're getting together to do service projects, and they're eliminating a lot of what would be considered a traditional presentation type meeting.
Wow. So it sounds like, just besides a membership plan, for those people who are with us tonight, we might want to also consider how we move forward as a club and what we do in terms of monthly programs, information that we send out. How do we stay connected? I mean, there might be, I'm thinking, Corey, I'm just top of my head right now, but besides just membership, we might want to even look at how we want to proceed as a club in the future. Do we want programs? Do we want to find local community projects? Do we want to maybe focus primarily on international? I mean, it sounds like this is an opportunity for us as a young E-Club to really take another look at who we are and what we want to do.
Yeah. I mean, we're a traditional lunch club, but we've gone to only having 2 presentation meetings a month. 1 week a month, we only have a social. We don't even meet at lunchtime. And then 1 week a month, we have 3 of our members give some sort of presentation on who they are and interesting things about their personal life leading up to them becoming a Rotarian. And so in that way, we're building fellowship in that meeting and in our social meeting and getting to know each other better. And then 2 meetings a month, we have our traditional style meetings. And this is a club that's been around for about 20 years. And it's a traditional lunch club. So I think a lot of clubs are kind of reworking what it means to meet on a regular basis. And so, yeah, I would say throw it out there and see what you want to do.
Yeah, one of the things I wanted to do in terms of socializing with the membership, since we've gained 5 new members, and we started something a while back, but we didn't follow through completely, is having a meeting where, maybe even 2 meetings, where we learn about each other. Who are you? What's your low Rotary background? What's your business or career background? Get to be, Jen will tell you this, that when we were in Victoria, we got to meet with Jim, and Tanya Sterling had a wonderful dinner at the DLTA. Learned a lot about each other and talked an awful lot about potential projects and potential new programs, right, Jen? Such as a program on autism that we talked about. And then Jim's son is someone that I'm communicating with right now on one of those programs. So maybe we take a step back and we learn about who each other is first, and then do a membership plan, and then maybe go into or not formal programs. I don't know. Maybe we should have a wide open meeting in the future. What does everybody think? Something just wide open, throw out some ideas.
That usually works. That's usually quite constructive.
Okay, Chuck, what do you think? Something kind of totally different, a free form meeting?
Well, it makes sense. I was thinking though about the programs, and I think the one thing we did last year was to donate money to that group that provided that education service for people who weren't connected to the web. But maybe our programs, when we have them, could be kind of auditions for what are we going to do next.
It's a great idea.
That's a great idea. Programs for potential projects, whether they're in a local community or whether they're international?
Yeah, whatever.
Okay, yeah.
I think we all felt pretty good about what we did last year.
Oh, yeah, I think everybody was really excited about that. And a lot of members dipped into their own pockets in addition to what the club donated. So yes, it was a very successful project. Okay, Jen, go ahead, please.
I would just add to it that we could call it a strategic planning session, and we could have part of it be this plan for membership, part of it be what we want to do for programmatic, part of it what we want to do for service, and part of it what we want to do for training.
Okay,
and then,
tell me that again. I'm trying to write this down. Right? Tell me that again. Strategic plan.
Yeah, and talk about membership planning.
Okay. Yep.
Programmatic.
Program. Okay.
Training. And service.
Cool. That may take 1 or 2 meetings, wouldn't it? Okay. Great. Okay, that's excellent. See, Corey, what an impact you had tonight.
I'm happy to see it.
We've already got membership talking. So I'll put an email out to the whole club, and part of what, like Chuck says, if we're going to have programs, we want to maybe focus on programs that can come to us as an audition or a proposal for our support, so we can learn more about what needs are, whether they're local or international. So I will put something out, Jen, based on what you've said. As a membership, we'll start talking about that. It might take 2 or 3 meetings where we don't have an actual formal program, but we as a group just get together and discuss what it is we want to do and how we want to grow. Awesome. Awesome. Anything else from the membership? Corey?
Yeah, I was going to say, thanks for having me. I think I'm going to sign off here and let you guys finish up your regular meeting. But I really appreciate it, and happy to be of service. So just let me know.
Thank you so much, Corey. Really appreciate it.
All righty. Bye-bye.
Okay. Everybody else, should we end the meeting, and then I'll take the results of this and send an email out to the membership about when, where, what. Okay. All right. Great. Thank you, everybody. What a great meeting. I think we actually made a big leap forward here tonight. Thank you. So everyone, good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you for staying in, Bill.
Thank you. Good night.
I'm sorry, Chuck. Go ahead.